Why, hello, welcome. I am Lady Genesis, and this is the Art Realm of Genesis. I am back, and I have finally brought that painting that I was talking about for the last 2 weeks. Of course, I did have to get that marker review out of the way before I could focus on the painting, and now that it is done, here we are. To start off with, I did sketch out a concept for my iced coffee girl in my tiny sketchbook. And then I went on ahead and sketched her on the bigger render paper because I am painting on the render paper. I love the render paper. And I will be using the same watercolor set that I used for Juliet on the Sea, which is my beautiful strawberry girl if you did not see that episode from 2 weeks ago. So the inspiration behind the iced coffee girl, well, during the summer, if anyone had noticed, on the summer art wheel, iced coffee girl was one of the options that I could have spun at any moment, but just didn't get to it. It wasn't chosen, but since I had painted the strawberry girl, I just fell in love with the concept of painting another character with a background. And I thought the iced coffee girl would be a perfect choice to continue this series. And who knows, I might do another painting with a character with a background. I don't know. We'll just see where this takes us. Now, as far as my sketches go, I have always taken them as a point of reference or inspiration of a concept that I'm trying to produce. My normal protocol is to just redraw the sketch all over again. There are only certain instances that I will actually trace it when I'm looking for something specific, or if I'm taking the piece into Procreate, I will trace it. But even then, I will probably change a couple of things along the way, because at the end of the day, it's just a concept to me. I love when my pieces breathe their own life and have their own story. The choice for this outfit, I did go with something a little bit different. This isn't normally a fashion direction I would head. This channel is full of fantasy stuff. I did keep the pointy elf ears because that's just how I am with most of my drawings, but I just wanted her to have like a cute little crop top and some shorts and be more modern. I guess you could say I did that for the strawberry girl too. She had more of a 90s feel, and that's something I wouldn't have drawn normally anyway. Unless I'm doing like my paper doll stuff, then I specifically give outfits to Zoe. I do have a playlist on Zoe the Paper Doll if anyone's ever interested. She's got about 4 episodes dedicated to fashion and just different times of the year, and I give her different outfits, at least 10 a piece per episode. So if you're interested, the playlist will definitely be in the description box. .99% of the sketching was done on camera, but towards the end, after I got it all down, I did kind of fix a couple of things off camera before I started painting, because I didn't want my character to look too askewed or crooked. Sometimes that tends to happen when you're trying to eyeball it for the camera. See, even though they're kind of the same, they have their own personalities, and that's what I like. Then it was time to break out the watercolors, and I wanted to stick to a certain color palette. As you can see right here, I wanted browns, oranges, maybe a little bit of tan, more or less coffee colors, and kind of going into fall colors if you think about it. And that is definitely not a color palette I would normally choose. I'm already kind of stepping out of my comfort zone. For the outfit, I wanted more of a brown shorts, a kind of fun top with some oranges and browns. And then for the skin, I went in with this very shimmery peach, and that was intentional because I wanted to give her skin some life and dewiness. And then I would go back and forth with some layers and warm it up a little bit with the regular peach. And also, I wanted her hair to have more of a whiter color, like a white cream. I didn't want blonde because I wanted it to be like the whipped cream off of the top of a nice coffee or a caramel frappe. Because I don't know, not everyone does that, but I do. I love my sugary sweets. So if I'm going to go all out and get a nice coffee, I'm putting everything on it, plus the kitchen sink. So I wanted her hair to resemble Reddi-wip on top of a coffee. Okay, now that I brought that up, I have to wonder for you guys, am I the weird one? Because I will even put Cool Whip in my coffee. Not all the time, but sometimes I treat myself and I'll throw a couple of scoops in there and mix it around, and it makes it really creamy and adds a bit of flavor to it. But let me know in the comments, does anyone else do that, or is it just me? Or also, do you even drink coffee is a real question. I have to at least have 1 cup a day, or I'm a hot mess express in the morning. Even though I don't normally use this color palette, I'm getting a real appreciation for it. Who knows, I might incorporate more of the browns and oranges during the fall season, because I did a really good job using them, and I'm starting to love painting more on the channel. It brings me a certain type of joy that digital art can't always bring, because normally when I'm doing digital art, I'm busy doing it behind the scenes where I'm screen recording and you don't really get to see the process with my hands. This just brings me some type of joy or fulfillment to just paint. Just as a side note, I don't know, rambling, sometimes I do that. Like, look at how smooth those colors are and how I've been building all the pigments on top of one or the other. I really do like this watercolor palette, and I've definitely seen growth in my painting skills with it since I started, I think in May or June. I definitely see more paintings coming to the channel. Now back to the piece. I am working on her background. I chose to sketch it out first because I wanted something a little more complicated than the Strawberry Girl background. Now that one was just a pink paint marker and going over with some strawberries that I painted on top. This, I'm actually going in with coffee looking clouds. I saw this design on Pinterest. I don't know who the artist was, but I had like a whole pinned board full of coffee core, as I called it, for inspiration, and I thought the background was super cute and wanted to try it myself. Okay, pause. Editor Genesis here, and I just wanted to come back in and touch base. I found the information for the piece that I used for the background. It didn't sit right with my spirit not being able to give a shout out to whoever it was. I clicked on the link on Pinterest and I found it. This adorable design is actually a sticker on Redbubble, so I'm going to give a shout out to the creator. It was My Youth Diary. So if you would like to support the work, at least now you have some information to go off of. And now back to the video. Doing the background took a little bit longer because I did have to go back and forth with the browns to make sure that at least the bottom clouds were dark enough, so that way I can do the lighter gradients as I'm going further up. So you'll see me going back and forth painting over some of the ones at the bottom to make sure I have those 5 different shades and that it looks like it's not just a muddied mess. Also, if I go back between past tense, you know, like can and could and whatnot, it's just because I'm trying to get my thoughts out before I forget them, because there's a lot going on in this video. Oh yeah, I didn't even bother to make an announcement. If the audio sounds clearer, I finally broke down and got a microphone. So if the audio quality sounds more professional, well, that's the direction I'm trying to head. This year I am striving to make better videos, and I've started doing that since the beginning of summer. Now I'm adding the white stars and dots on the background, and I did see that as well on this type of background when I was going through Pinterest. I am also going to use that white paint marker to just touch up some shines on the hair and make sure the eyes are really bright where they're supposed to be. And then I went in with the black paint marker and started outlining her eyes and just around her body, but nowhere else. And it was debated whether or not I wanted to continue to outline the rest of her body on the inside, but I thought that one breakup line that, you know, outlines her body was enough to make sure that she pops off the background, because I didn't want to do too much, because I know when I start doing too many things, I end up sabotaging myself and messing up my piece. Besides, the color palette is so soft and pastel-y in a way that I don't want to mess up the character with too many dark lines. I don't know if you noticed when I lifted up the clipboard, she just was very soft, and that one black line just did the trick and distinctly showed off everything it needed to in order to make her stand off the background and pop. And right here, if you're wondering, with those darker brown clouds, I had used a paint marker trying to define the clouds themselves. I was going to use it and then realized it was too shiny, it would mess up everything. So I just went back over with a little bit more brown paint to fix my mistake. Once all the touch-ups were done, she was finally completed and she turned out so adorable. I'm gonna name her Bunny Jean, the iced coffee princess. Even though, side note, to me she looks kind of like an adorable mouse, but that's besides the point. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. All of this helps my tiny little channel grow, and I deeply appreciate all of it, all of you, so thank you so much. Also, I do have a Patreon. It is 18 plus, but you can get a free membership and see content that is not always on YouTube. So if you're interested, please go check it out. Well, I will be back hopefully next week with another episode. Who knows? I might take a small little break, no more than a week, just to give myself a moment to breathe. I have been grinding for months at this point and just kind of need a small break to recoup. But if I do end up taking a break, I will let you guys know. I won't just disappear and then show up later. Just keep an eye out on the community tabs, and we'll take it from there. But until then, I will see you when I see you. Love you all. Bye.